All right. It has been a long, long time, but we're back. Your host Matthias, along with the boy.
John,
John, where have we been? What have we been doing?
I've been hobbying.
Yeah, I've been busy with work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've also been busy with work, but yes, and hobbying.
Work, vacation, There's a lot of things going on in my personal life.
Same.
But we're here now. And what a good time to come back. Though there's a lot of stuff that we missed over that month break that we took. A lot of interesting stuff. Maybe we'll talk about it in the hobby rants.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of stuff to go over because there was a big reveal that happened Saturday, I want to say.
Thursday for the AoS stuff and Saturday for everything else.
Saturday is what I want to say. um, I mean, yeah, AoS is big too, since its new edition is coming out.
New edition.
So let's just jump into it, and we're gonna start where we always start, the good old Sunday preview. So, the Dawnbringer saga ends. So we're getting a bunch of the Chaos models here. The Abraxia, Baron Spear, the 3 horses, and the guy on the giant lizard, the Chaos Lizard, coming in a box. We got the brands Oathbound, which I believe was a war cry. Is that correct?
I believe.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at it, it looks like a Warcry unit. So
yeah, I think it's both in Warcry and regular AoS, which is super cool.
We got the Gunner Blade novel. We got Darakoth Chieftain on the War Steed. Darakoth Wilder Fiend. The Marauders. All the HD stuff. Everything being HD. Marauder Horseman. The Nexus Chaotica, I believe is the Endless Spell. Tekar, finally being released on their own. How do you say this? Kretia, the person who's against my queen. Very good model. I'm gonna finally pick this up now that it's solo and I don't have to buy a box to get her. 40k. We got some made to order terrain here. So
Those, do you remember those? Those are pretty cool.
So the first one I don't recall. I don't ever remember that terrain. The everything else I remember. The second one is the was it the starter set of 8th edition that this came in?
You're talking about the generator?
No. The runes.
Oh yes. I do remember that from 8th.
Yeah, that's the terrain that replaced the classic terrain. Yeah, the generators. I remember the generators, and I remember the construction terrain. Those were all kill team box sets, basically. Pretty much all of this is from Kill Team. This is all the Adeptus Mechanicus terrain. I have a buddy who has all this terrain, and so he has a whole table filled with it. It's kind of annoying, just because none of the parts are like glued in. It's supposed to be all modular, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to play on. But I mean, it does look good when it's all nicely painted and put on the table. So there's that. Blood Bowl. I care not for Blood Bowl. Middle Earth is getting an adventure game, Quest to Mordor.
No new models.
No new models. Just I guess they gotta milk the Lord of the Rings title. They barely do anything with it. We got more Black Library. We got the Realm Slayer. We got Witchbringer in German. Horus Heresy Omnibus coming out. The plushies are back. Goblin, Nurgling, and a Squig. And then Warhammer Plus, we got a Lore Masters and a painting tutorial. And that is that. That is what we can expect for pre-order this Sunday. That's not what anyone's here for. They want to know about the drops, the reveals. So let's just start off with how they start off with AoS. So this was, what con was this again?
I think it's just Warhammer Open in Dallas.
Warhammer Open in Dallas. Sounds good. So they had big reveals, as we mentioned earlier. We got the first thing here. Obviously, since 4th edition is coming out, we're gonna see the starting armies here, and obviously our first one is the Lord Vigilant on a Griff Stalker, which it looks pretty good. Looks nice.
I think this is probably
the best mount model in a starter set I've seen ever. It's super freaking cool.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I own Stormcast, and this I want to paint this model. It's just really unique. Sorry, it's not unique. It's not. I meant to say it's not unique, but it's a refresh of like Griff mounts you've seen before in a really cool way, and I'm all for it.
I like the detail on the Stormcast, and then the mount helps bring it out. So it's very nice. It's a very nice looking commander model. Definitely would be proud to have that on the battlefield there. Some more screenshots of this here. Very, very well done model. And then we got the Lord variant on foot here. A helmetless option. That. Another one, the Lord Terminus.
That guy is super cool. So the lore is interesting. So he's like Stormcast that one, Blood Angel Chaplain who like kills the Death Company that go too crazy. So he's kind of like that for Stormcast. So if Stormcast, how when Stormcast die, they come back, right? But they lose a little bit on themselves. So the more and that happens to Stormcast, the more they go kind of crazy. So Stormcast are just going crazy if they're conscious enough to just want to end it all. He executes them permanently, so they don't come back anymore. They're just permanently dead. Otherwise, they would keep losing themselves, right? So that's what he does. And yeah, what a great pose. Interesting new lore, very grim dark. And he has a little dude, too, that accompanies him.
Do we know anything about the little dude?
No, I just think he just hangs out with him.
He's just there. He's just chilling.
Yeah, he's chilling, yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a nice pose. I think I like that little guy more than the Stormcast, but isn't the whole thing about AoS about just conquering souls? So wouldn't it be a detriment to be killing them?
It used to be that, but because the Stormcast, they're just gonna go crazy if they keep getting reforged, and it's implied they become like Death Company almost. So we might see more of that in the future. And it's really interesting too because this wasn't with AoS having continuous storylines throughout all the editions, we didn't have this problem in 2nd edition when we first started really playing AoS. Like there wasn't a Ruination Chamber unleashed. There wasn't any Stormcast losing their minds. There wasn't any Lord Terminuses, executing them or helping them commit suicide kind of thing. This is a new thing because of the storyline progressing. And I find that kind of cool with Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I've never been too big on the lore. I tried to get into it, just not for me. Let's move on there. We got the Night Quester, which is a remake, right?
Yes.
These were things. They were something before they did the wipe on them.
I think it's just an updated model.
So we got that coming in. We got the Illusionists, Inclusionaries, whatever these are called.
Reclusians, so this is a new unit.
They seem to be really big on the little serfs that they have now.
Yeah, that's kind of new there. Yeah, these guys are, their lore is that they're the Stormcast who have been reforged the most, or they're the closest to losing their humanity kind of thing.
Yeah, we going
but they're still, yeah, they're still loyal to Sigmar, but you know, like they don't go traitor, right? They just become more and more merciless. So instead of, you know, talking to people, if someone's disobeying a Stormcast, he'll like kill them on the spot kind of thing. So they're just more fanatical as they keep getting reforged.
I see. We got the prosecutors, the flying units here. I'm not a big fan, ain't gonna lie. Maybe because I can see the human faces.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be helmets for those. Just imagine them with actual helmets.
Even if I do, I'm still not a big fan.
Fair.
It's mainly because of the tactical rock that they're leaping off of. I hate the tactical rocks. But
I like them more than the old ones, to be honest. The old prosecutors.
I don't know. I kind of like the old ones a little more.
Oh yeah.
If I'm thinking, they're the ones that came in the first starter set, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I kind of like those ones more.
Okay.
The wings were what I liked about them.
Fair.
But yeah, not a big fan of these ones here. We got the Liberators, which we've seen previews of before.
Yep, classic Liberators. Their hammers are giant. Kind of feels out of scale, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
but it's Warhammer, so.
One of those hammers is bigger than that guy's chest right there. Jesus. Just the maul part. All right. So we got the Liberators coming, and then that is it. That's what they showed off there. The next one, of course, we gotta see the other side of the box here. We got the Skaven.
Yes. Doubles is kind of an old world release, to be honest with you, for people who play Skaven in old world.
Yeah, if you want some updated models. So first off, we got the Claw Lord on a Gnaw Beast. A rat riding a giant rat. Classic. So we got that coming in. Looks okay. It's what I'm pretty much going to be saying about all the Skaven units, except for maybe one. But when comparing to the Stormcast model, you know, it looks okay.
I like that it's unique because we don't really see Skaven cavalry, so I like. Actually, I kind of like this model. Honestly, a little
Skaven
like
doesn't
rat
even have cavalry, do they?
Exactly, they don't. So this is like a unique thing, which I appreciate.
Got that. We got the Gracier being updated from his old model. Looks like he's on a good old bell. Bench of rat swarms underneath him. The Rat Ogres.
Cute.
These are what I'm excited for.
10 out of 10 model remake. Oof, they're so cool.
Yeah, these are great. These, I mean, what were the old what were the other Rat Ogres called? Storm Fiends.
Storm Fiends. Those are like the bigger Rat Ogres. These are the regular Rat Ogres.
Yeah, I mean the Storm Fiends made great grotesque conversions, but you know, simple ones like this would have been nice too.
Oh yeah.
These are, I mean, over all the old Skaven range, these are definitely the better batch here.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like they're gonna be kitted to have a little more weapon variety than their previous version. Seeing how one has a gun arm, and I doubt the sword and the claw are gonna come into play, but the fact that they'll have a range option, that's be pretty huge.
That's cool. Yeah.
So the rat ogres are coming, nice and cool. The rattling warp blaster, which I guess will just be their artillery, being pushed by 2. I want to say 4 Skaven. I want to say there's 2 on the other side, but I only see 2, so we're gonna go 2. I've always liked the warp guns of the Skaven. I always thought it was cool. I do hope they keep their dangerous mechanic of like the warp stone being so unstable.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
I hope if they do keep it, I hope it doesn't like make this model unusable, because I do like this model, but I still hope they have that chaotic factor about them. So we got that going. We got the Warlock Engineer. I'm sure we'll be in charge of buffing all the war machines and all the warpstone stuff. We got normal clan rats, which, you know, the rats, they're HDified now, so they're okay. You don't want to use those older rats for the new old world. Now's your chance to pick up some new stuff here. We got the warp lock Giselles, classic snipers.
Classic Skaven snipers.
Yeah, these were something. I don't really remember them too much. It was they had a machine gun version, right? What was that?
The rattling gun. Yep.
The rattling gun, yeah. I remember fighting a lot more rattling guns back in the old world. That was disgusting for both people.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, these look nice. These are cool looking. And that was all they showed off for the Skaven there. And then of course we got the Skaventide box, the Corebook and the match play cards. So first, look at the book here. A classic Stormcast on it. You get to see the realms. Interesting enough. That was a little more closer together, but again, I'm not too familiar with the lore. But we get to see how Skaven are basically infecting everything right now in their own little warp dimension. Do we know where Skaven come from?
So Skaven live in the space between the realms, which is kind of weird and interesting and very fantasy-like.
I see.
Yeah.
So basically the sewers of the universe is what you're saying.
Exactly. There we go. That's exactly right.
Got that. It goes over a couple rules. Got the general handbook cards, which you know, just going by GW's track record, I would highly not recommend these cards.
Well, they come in the box, which at least is I appreciate that it just comes in the box.
I know, but if you're gonna buy it solo, I'd highly recommend not buying them.
Oh, you mean if they're separate?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with Matt, but I do like that they include it in the box as a convenient kind of thing.
I mean, they did that with 40K. It's just, you know.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was in Leviathan. You're right. Yeah.
It was just you know, if you bought it separately, you know, they had the misprints already.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, luckily, you know, they got it resolved, but it's
Still a pain.
We got the Spearhead, Fire and Jade, just, you know, just a smaller combat situation scenario book, and I think that's it. No, one more. This is what you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So we got the 2-player box set here. Pretty much everything they shown off gonna be in the mega box here. So go ahead, John. I know you want to talk about this.
So I want to talk about specifically about Spearhead. So Spearhead is a new game mode that's coming with AoS 4.0. It's essentially their version of Combat Patrol, but in classic Games Workshop fashion. The Age of Sigmar experimental thing is way better than the 40k experimental thing. So Spearhead is a game mode with specific rules and data sheets that uses pre-built armies, specifically the Vanguard and Spearhead boxes. So in the Stormcast and in the starter set context, it's the Stormcast side and the Skaven side. So those armies are pre-built. You don't get to add or remove. That's what you get. And for the other factions, for example, my Cities of Sigmar one, the Spearhead is 10 of the regular dudes on foot, a general on horse, 5 knights, and a cannon. That's the Spearhead. For Flesh Eaters, it's 1 Ghoul King on foot, 10 Ghoul Infantry, 3 Ghoul Cavalry, and the Vargulf Monster. So that's, for example, it's that. And for Night Hunt, it's like some Hex Wraiths. It's a Hex Wraith. It's like Chain Rasps and a Knight of Shroud, Spirit Hosts, and Grimghast and stuff. So these are pre-built armies, and the game is balanced based on these pre-built armies, and they have specific war scrolls that are kind of similar to their full game version, but are more streamlined, so there's not as much rules. A big change is like magic. So in the full game of Age of Sigmar 4.0, wizards can select spells like in old fantasy, or even in old AOS, you could select your spells. However, in Spearhead, the spell you have is in your war scroll, so you don't get to pick. There's no relics, there's no nothing. So it's very self-contained. It's designed for 2 people. Initially, you would think it's designed for just 1 person, but I think it's for 2 people. The first kind of person is people who are new to Age of Sigmar. So I have a buddy who I play Magic with that's getting into AOS, and he got the Soul Blight Vanguard, which is a Soul Blight Spearhead, and that's a good way to start the hobby because you don't have to worry about building an army. You just got to build what's on the box, and you're good to go. And the game has streamlined rules. It's the full rules-ish in terms of mechanics, but in terms of like war scrolls and all that, it has specific war scrolls that are only used in Spearhead with slightly different rules. So that's the first kind of player, new players who want to get in. The second type of player are people who want to start a new army, but don't want to go full out. People like me, who I'm like, ooh, Flesh Eater Spearhead. Those are cool models. I don't want to do a full army, but there's this new game mode that you could just play with those models. And interestingly, this game mode has like a full set of missions and all that are specific to this game. Even the specific battlefield size and terrain setups. Like they went all out with Spearhead for Age of Sigmar, and it is pretty hype. I am currently back to working on. So I'm working on some. I'll talk more in hobby rants, but I'm working on some other stuff right now. But I'm next on my backlog is I want to work on the Cities of Sigmar stuff. So by the time this launches, I'll have the dudes ready for some Spearhead games. Because I've read some reviews of the game mode from people who have the full rules, like Goonhammer, and they said it's way better than Combat Patrol, and it's just a really good mini game. It's like a game on its own. Like you could have a full fun experience with just Spearhead games, and they're fast. There's not a lot of models. You could easily do like a 2-day event at a local store. You could do like even a 1-day event for like a few hours kind of thing, instead of a whole day. It's pretty exciting, this new Spearhead thing. And again, there's specific missions to it, specific twists. They even have this thing where like, I think it's both in Spearhead and in the full game, but you could choose to discard secondaries for in-game buffs. So if let's say you have a secondary that you can't score, you can discard that for like +1 to wound on a unit, which could swing the tide of a battle, kind of thing. Like it's pretty exciting, this new game mode.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go over it when we get to the 40k section, but yeah, the 40k box sets have not been being great, especially balance wise.
Yeah.
For the combat patrols to be worth doing.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's why I joke earlier in typical Games Workshop fashion, like the Sigmar version of this thing is like way freaking better than the 40k one. But yeah, I'm hyped, and for most AOS players who have armies, you probably have all the. I'm sure, like for example, I'm sure you have all the Night Haunt, like Spearhead already.
Probably.
So
I mean,
yeah.
I had like 2, 3, maybe 3 Night Haunt sprues from the starter set that came out.
Yep, you have Spirit Host, right?
I do somewhere.
Yeah, I think you're good to go then, because yeah, that's the Spearhead for Night Haunt. So yeah, I recommend this to people. I mean, I haven't played it, but a lot of the reviews I've seen of it are very positive, and just like, oh, I'm just gonna get this box and I'm done. Like that's especially now, like I'm playing like games like Shatterpoint or like BattleTech, where it's like I just do this thing and it feels so nice feeling accomplished, finishing this quote unquote force or army so easily. So yeah. So yeah, Spearhead AOS 4.0. Get hyped.
It's coming
It's coming
next month.
next month.
All right, well, on to Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday, we got some interesting. We got a little bit of everything. 40k, 30k, under Necromunda, and Epic. So starting off with what they first revealed, we got 40k. We got Adeptus Sororitas, or Sisters of Battle, and it looks like we got some Seraphim model updates here. Canoness with the jump pack, I should say. Sorry. So it looks like they'll finally have a jump pack leader, which is nice. They didn't really need to go all out on sisters there. They're getting that. And then we get to this box. I don't know what GW is thinking and why they keep doing this. Because they did this with the Space Marine, one of the Space Marine box sets last year. Where, they had, because I know why they did it. Because they got the new Captain jump pack. But now they're doing the same exact thing. They're giving us another jump pack HQ, and then they're giving us a box set with all jump packs and then like a tank.
Yeah.
So honestly, this battle force is probably mid. I mean, if you don't have the models, it might be worth it if you don't have it. But if you're a sorority player already, I mean, you already got all the models. Unless you want updated models, this would be fine. But otherwise, it's pretty bad. It's a pretty big box in my opinion. So they're coming out with that. Obviously, they're getting the book because they are on the horizon of getting their books here. And then, of course, we got the Combat Patrol, which not bad. Pretty decent. It's pretty fleshed out. The Arcoflagellants, the normal sisters. I forget what the ones with the maces are called, but not a bad box set for Combat Patrol wise. A little bit of everything there. So that's coming out for 40k. That's good old sisters. We of course got Gene Stealer Cults also coming out. We get a new character here. The Benefactus.
That name is like so stupid. Benefactus. Like it would be better if it was like craniologist or something, or something like a pun of the brain. But Benefactus, like why? That's so weird.
Because they gotta play on the religious aspect
Jeez.
of the Gene Stealer cult as well.
I guess, but Benefactus, like what?
Hey man, I don't make the names.
I know.
Other than that, I mean, it's just a guy with a big brain.
Big brain gamer move right
Big
here.
brain right there. I'm sure the GSC will have plenty of memes to do with this guy. Now that they have another big brain person to deal with. That's coming out. They're getting their book as well. They got their battle force. And I can't really talk on the battle force because I don't really have too much experience fighting them. But I'm gonna just say, you know, it looks good. I know the.
I was gonna say I got reminded that there's new Gene Stealer models, and that makes me happy. Like pure strain Gene Stealers.
Yes. But I know the Aberrants. I know they weren't too good. I mean, they keep getting nerfed. So I don't know. I don't think they are holding up. But again, it's been a while since I fought Gene Stealer cults.
They're a pain in the ass at Magic, I'll tell you that.
Yes, we're getting that, and then obviously the Combat Patrol, which I'm gonna say is bad, but I haven't. Again, not too familiar, but I would assume more hordy would be the Gene Stealer cult way, but it looks like they're going more armored on this one.
I don't like how it doesn't have a lot of the infantry. So just from like again, I don't play 40k like at all anymore, so I can't tell about the gameplay of this. But yeah, in terms of just coolness factor, I don't like that it doesn't have the regular infantry because I think those are the coolest units in Gene Stealers, just the basic neophytes.
Yep, and I'm sure this would do extremely well in the Combat Patrol.
Yeah, fast.
Got that 30k. I'm sure John's happy about this. Mechanicum going to plastic.
So I'm like 80% happy.
80% happy.
Maybe 85.
All right.
So
well, tell me why.
So 85% happy because it's plastic Mechanicum. This is a major Horus Heresy army that is now available in plastic. That is exciting. I mean, I even get this box because I actually don't. I have one of that transport and I have none of the infantry. So the launch box will be 20 tech thralls, which I don't have. A Carachnos transport, but I have a resin model of that's unbuilt. I have 2 Castellax, and I could, every Mechanicum player can always use more Castellax. And 6 Thalax. Now, while I do have 6 Thalax already, I have like 8. I have some Ursarax, which are the close combat version, unbuilt, and those resin models are terrible. So I'm looking forward to getting this and then just giving them the lightning claws, because essentially Ursarax are Thalax with lightning claws instead of guns. So I would just place those lightning claws there, and I got an Ursarax unit. So that's pretty exciting. So this is a great box. We're also getting a new plastic Tech Priest engines or Archmagos. He looks amazing, actually. That I am picking one up for sure. Because I use the 40k one right now. While he is cool, I like this looks like menacing and mobile, and yeah, it definitely looks like
this model right here is a must buy in my opinion.
Oh yeah, even if you play Admech, and actually I might get this guy on launch because I know he's going to be sold out because all the Admech players are going to get this guy because he is a great model. Actually, my favorite model out of this launch. So he's really cool. We're getting a plastic Thanatar Cavus as well, which is the big plasma cannon thing. And I have 2 of them, so I won't be getting any more, but they are a very powerful unit in Mechanicum. So I am 15% not that happy. Not sad or mad, but more cautious because I hope Mechanicum gets a rules update because they're kind of bad right now. And I don't mean that they're bad that you can't win with them, but you have to. They only really win with specific builds, which is essentially full shooting. So I have a pretty nasty Mechanicum army, but it's like 7th edition Tau, where here's all these guns blowing you off the board before you get in close combat.
I mean, that was basically 7th edition And 8th edition Admech.
There we go. Yeah. So I hope that there's ways for Mechanicum close combat to be buffed, because the weapon skill chart at 30k is so brutal to Mechanicum, because in Horus Heresy, if the enemy's weapon skill is higher than yours, you hit them on 5s. And Mechanicum has like no access to weapon skill 5 at all. And weapon skill 5 is very, very, very common for elite Space Marine units. So if you have like contemptors, once a contemptor reaches your lines, like it's game over. I tell us by experience. Like if I don't kill their contemptors, if they have 3 and I only kill like 1 or 2, if I kill 2, I could have a chance. But if I only kill 1 or none, like that's game over, because they'll chew once they're in melee, they'll chew through everything. Because I can't hit them. They have brutal weapons and all that. Yeah, so I hope they get some ways to, because Mechanicum have like kind of psychic powers. Not really. It's similar to psychic powers, but the lore is like it's like the robot magic thing where they like you have your iPad and you turn the robot functions on and off. So there's one that gives them +1 ballistic skill, which is great. But I really wish there was one of those +1 weapon skill, because then Mechanicum robots can fight Space Marine elite units, because even the heavy hitting Mechanicum melee units like Ursarax that I was talking about earlier, or Domitars, which are like these robots with graviton fists. Like, yeah, they have graviton fists which hit like a truck, but they hit dreadnoughts on 5s. They hit enemy elites on 5s, which are what you want to find in close combat. So
they don't have canticles like they do in 40k.
So that's what I was talking about. They have the equivalent. It's called Cyberthurgy. It's kind of like their canticles, but there's no canticles that buff melee, which really sucks.
Oh, okay.
So at the very least, I wish they introduced new canticles that buff melee, because then at least there's a chance, right? And I'm not saying buff the Domitar's weapon skill 5, but have a canticle or Cyberthurgy so a tech priest can press a button and make some weapon skill 5. That would be cool. So I hope they have that. But I think the silver lining to the 15% of sadness is that with Plastic Mechanicum, so all the thing I just talked about right now about melee, that only really applies against Space Marines and Custodes, I guess. But if everyone's playing Mechanicum or like Solar Ox, then it's great, because now your melee units can actually hit things if they get into melee. So if Plastic Mechanica means more Mechanicum players, I am happy. Like, I'm on like some Discord groups of some stores I go to. I'm like, hey, can someone please play Mechanicum, because I'm kind of tired of just trying to tech against heavy support squads and dreadnoughts and like elite Terminators, because it would be so nice to just play, like, bring units I don't normally bring because they're bad against Space Marines. And I'm hoping that there'll be some events in the future, whether at LVO or whatever, that's just Mechanicum, Solar Ox, Militia, Demons, all the non-Space Marine stuff, because I think the Horus Heresy meta is so centered around Space Marines, which, John, of course, 90% of people playing Horus Heresy, probably 95% play Space Marines, so I get that. But it would be nice to see like events now where it's just the non-Marine armies, and see what the meta or the armies look like and the games look like for that, because I think that would make for like a fun experience, in my opinion. And Plastic Mechanica makes that way more accessible. So I want to bump up my happiness to 90% actually. So
it keeps rising.
Yeah, keeps rising.
Well, I'll give
so
my
this is great. Yeah,
I'll give my 2 cents. I really like these. I don't know what these. What's his first unit called? The robots with the guns.
These are the Thalax. So they are human nervous systems inside a robot. Like essentially a robot, but inside that robot is a skull and a spinal cord and some nerves, which is super cool. But yeah, they're great.
I really enjoy these models. I like the look. These are cool. I would like to pick these up. I don't know what I do with them, but yeah, these are really cool. The normal looking Mechanica guys here, the servitors, these look nice. Just compared to the 40k ones that we have, it's nice to see something different.
Yeah.
I don't care too much for the vehicle. More dreadnoughts, Castellas.
Yeah, Castellax. These are actually like straight up robots. So
yeah, these are nice and different looking. I like this. And then of course you got the guy with the big guns.
Oh yeah, Thanatar, one of my favorite units.
Of course, the Mega's obviously a must buy.
Yes.
It's such a cool.
Oh yeah.
I would pick that. I probably am gonna pick it up. It goes solo.
Should play Mechanicum in 30k.
I should play Mechanicum.
You should play Mechanicum. It's also an elite army. Like, you don't need too many models for a Mechanicum 30k army.
Really?
Like, that Thanatar is like 350 points or something. And he will delete things like hardcore because he is a beast.
I feel like I would have gone solo or Ox, but
You can do both.
I could do both.
Do both to ally them in.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. But yeah, that is that. That's the big 30k news there. Moving on, we got some epic news. So they got the Tauron supplement here.
Yeah, Battle of Talarn, which is the biggest tank battle in Warhammer. Which it pits the Iron Warriors Legion against the Talarn Imperial Army, supported by some Space Marines and Knights. And what happens is they virus bomb the surface, so only tanks can operate on the outside. So everyone's just taking tanks and robots, or in Knights, I mean.
I see. Interesting. It's gonna be a tank battle.
Which I think fits for
Narrative play.
Epic. No, for Epic, which I think Epic has really fun tank rules. Or just whole tank armies. But yeah.
So there's that, and then the next news, which I'm kind of excited for, Necromunda. Here's something we haven't talked about in a while. So the Underhive descend down to the depths. Got the Vansar versus the Gene Stealer cult. It's gonna be the new box set here. Let's just get right into the models here. So first models we have are what are these, Hive Scoundrels? Got some power armor. Got some little demon baby thing there.
So actually, these are the Spires. So these are literally rich kids who are bored and want to hunt aliens in the collapsed hive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what else are you gonna do if you're rich, right?
I know, right? And in Warhammer, might as well.
So we got that. We got the models here. Spires. Okay. Vansar. Looking at them, I mean, Vansar. I mean, I've always had a problem with their aesthetic. It's always been like a little too futuristic for me.
It's fair.
But I mean, they look nice. I just have a problem with their setting in Necromunda, but they are well funded, I guess would be the word. So we got that. What are your thoughts on the Spire, or not Spire, what they call Vansar?
I'll give my thoughts at the end.
All right. Well, then we got the Gene Stealers, the quote unquote purebred Gene Stealers here, rocking a new design.
So these are actually malformed gene stealers. They're like genetically messed up gene stealers. And it seems like the lore is that like it's unclear if they're probably not like Tyranid, like pure Tyranids anymore. They're too mutated.
Right. So we got that, and still unsure. When you first saw that little squid thing, what did you think it was?
The squid thing?
Yeah,
I thought it was not a Tyranid thing for sure.
What did you think it was though?
Some Deloc thing, to be
Deloc.
honest. Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't think it was gonna be Tyranids either. I thought it was gonna be some like weird group of monsters. I mean, we did get a weird bunch group of monsters, but definitely not the Tyranid area. But I enjoy the Tyranid, or not Tyranid, the Gene Stealer design here. It's nice and different. The poses are cool. Models are cool. One of them looks like a straight up liquor from Resident Evil. It's funny. And then, of course, we got the Gene Stealer cult themselves. You know, just a bunch of abhumans.
So these are kind of unique because this is the Hive Scum box, you know, this generic Hive people with Gene Stealer heads. So I love that they use that kind of design. I'm a fan when they just do like upgrade sprues for existing kits instead of a whole new kit. Yeah, I really like that.
There's that, and then I think that is it. And then obviously the book, Hive Secundus, and yeah, that's it. That is Necromunda. Necromunda looking good. I enjoy it. Go ahead.
So my thoughts. I'm probably buying this box set. Everything here is like cool to me. Vans are the least cool. Well, actually, the Hive Scum are the least cool. But I like the in the context of the box set. So the lore for this is another hive in Necromunda. Necromunda is a planet, right? The main game takes place in the main hive, and then Ash Waits takes place outside. And then there's another hive which had a Gene Stealer infestation. The planetary governor, because he didn't want the planet Exterminatus, and the Imperium didn't want Exterminatus anyway because it's too valuable, he bombards the planet from orbit and just collapses the whole hive. So the top of the hive is all like destroyed, but the underhive, the underground, is still intact. It's like a ruin, you know, but it's still there. So there's Xenos there, there's Archaeotech treasures, and apparently before the hive collapse, it was in classic 40k fashion, was a trove of relic technology and all that. So treasure hunters come and seek the riches of the Hive Secundus, and there's Gene Stealers there. And I like that the lore of the box, it's a combination of treasure hunters and rich kids trying to just kill Xenos and prove themselves. So I like how there's that high-tech kind of vibe with one of the sides, which is the Spryers and Avansar, versus just the horrors in the dark of the Gene Stealers, the malformed Gene Stealers, and the Hive, or what are they called, the scum, the Gene Stealer, the Gene Stealer scum. So even though the Vansar look kind of techy for Necro, I like their place here, which is the height. And then the high-tech humans versus the Gene Stealers gives me like almost alien vibes kind of thing. But yeah, I'm really liking this. It's, you know, it's just models. There's not a lot of terrain, which I think hopefully drives the price down. And I'm absolutely in love with the Gene Stealer models. These are the coolest aliens I've seen in Warhammer in like a long time. I love the paint scheme, the whole like drab kind of browns in some of them, and like the grays in the other one. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 box. I'm probably gonna buy this.
It's a nice box. I don't think I'm gonna buy it per se, but yeah.
And it's also not necessarily like its own game. It you know, if you have Necromunda models, you could play a Hive Secundus campaign where you fight the Gene Stealers. So for people like me and Matt who have Necromunda stuff already, like you could just play a kind of new kind of campaign using the new rules introduced here.
And that's it. That is all the previews from that event. Pretty good. I mean, it was kind of expected, you know, with next month being the release of AoS 4.0. You're gonna see a lot of that. Obviously, the next books for Warhammer 40k. And then I think the winner, in my opinion, Necromunda.
Yeah, I think
it was the one I'm more excited for.
I was really impressed with the AoS launch, and I am still mostly hyped for AoS, but I'm really impressed with this box, especially with Necromunda. Necromunda is in the stage after the first stuff came out, or the underhyped stuff, we got all the gangs. I'm like, what do you do next? So the natural answer was, okay, the outsides, the vehicles with dash rate. It's like, okay, cool, but it's like, now what? And this like horror aspect where it's like not just gang versus gang, but gang versus the environment and other gangs. I really like that theme, and those Gene Sitter models are super cool. So yeah, for me, it's a toss up between AoS and Necro. But yeah, the Necro boxes. I mean, I'm more hyped for that than Plastic Mechanicum.
That's saying something.
That's saying a lot.
All right then. Well, any other news articles to talk about that we didn't go over?
I think that is it.
All right then. Hobby Rant. What's been going on, John? It's been a month since our last video.
Yeah. In terms of hobby, yeah, I've been actually playing a lot of Star Wars Shatterpoint. I'm really liking just finishing a squad and be like, oh, I will never need duplicates of this. Like, I'm done. Like, I just painted the Bad Batch, and it's like, oh, cool, I have the Bad Batch. I just painted Cad Bane and some bounty hunters. Like, oh, cool, I'm done. I can just play with them now. I don't have to worry about getting more of them, kind of thing. It just feels very satisfying painting a squad, and like that's it. Because even games like Necromunda, for example, where you build your gang, you could always get more gangers. You could always get options. There's always things to add, right? Which it's in its way, it's kind of cool because there's options. The game has some replayability, but for a side game like Shatterpoint, just knowing that, okay, I'm done with this droid force and I don't need any more ever. Obviously, there's a new edition, which I doubt they'll change that aspect of the game. But yeah, so I've been working on Shatterpoint, slowly working on some Sons of Horus as well. Actually, running a Blood Bowl team because one of my buddies got me a Blood Bowl team.
What did I just hear?
At some yard sale. It was Lizardman. He's like, if you paint this, you can keep him. I'm like, all right, cool. The free models, and I actually like those designs because they're the least Blood Bowl looking models in Blood Bowl. So yeah, I have a Blood Bowl team.
I can't believe you backstabbed me in the back like this.
I know. I'm gone for a month. Like, I play Blood Bowl now.
That's what happens when I don't keep tabs. You keep my Blood Bowl hate up. This is what happens.
Exactly. I didn't spend money on it. But yeah, so I'm doing that. I've been playing a lot of 30k and Legion for the most part. I've yet to play Blood Bowl, so I'm not that tainted yet. I just have the models.
Hey man, you have the models. That's all it takes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure one day.
That's the gateway drug right there.
The gateway drug for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much been me with the hobby. How about you?
Well, I've been doing. Well, I went to Costa Rica, so I was gone for a week doing that, which is why we didn't do. So we skipped 1 week of the show, and then a lot of personal things came up, so I've kind of been dealing with that, which is why I haven't been doing any streaming. Haven't been doing rarely any hobbying. I've done a little bit of hobbying, but with work and personal life, it's been hard to do stuff right now.
Understandable.
So, I mean, the only thing I've been working on is the Shadows of Brimstone, just because it's nice and easy. I had a couple boxes of Gunpla that I had unbuilt, so I finally sat down and just built that.
Nice.
Because it's just nice and easy. It's just nice and easy to just put everything together. I don't have to glue anything. It's nice.
Have to paint anything.
I don't have to paint anything. I only have to get angry at myself when I put a piece in wrong, and then 10 steps later, it's like, alright, I gotta tear this apart and get this piece back in the right position. But yeah, I've been doing that. Hopefully, everything's gone back semi-normal for me, so hopefully we can go back to doing the weekly show. Maybe a couple other things I have down in the pipeline if things work out. But yeah, right now just working on Shadows of Brimstone, because I'm kind of, in 40k wise, I'm kind of just in limbo. I've been just going in between Craftworld Eldar and Dark Eldar on the armies I want to play, but I haven't made any headway on painting anything because I kind of want to see where they're gonna do with the books. So Shadows of Brimstone's been kind of where it's at in terms of my painting hobby. I shouldn't say probably. I should go back to my Night Haunt and finish the 2,000 points that I had set up for the beginning of this year that we were going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think Combat Patrol will be the gateway drug for me, at least for AoS.
Yeah, but I mean, I still have so much Night Haunt that
Yeah, fair.
it'll be nice to just get it all painted, even if I never touch the army again.
Yep.
So I'll definitely get back onto that. I just gotta get back in my painting routine here. Other than that, I know Darktide had an update, which I haven't played at all. Oh, I want to get your opinion because you're the lore guy. So last month, just before we went on hiatus, GW dropped the bombshell about the custodians.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was great.
What's your opinion, lore guy?
So I love the new update that there's female custodians. That that one short story. I like that because it doesn't break any lore. Custodians, there's no major lore reason that custodians should only be male in the way Space Marines have major lore reasons why they should be male in a lot of current publication. Like custodians are handcrafted-ish, so there's no reason why females cannot be custodians. So great change for me. I'm all for it. Can't wait for the new models, whenever that's going to be. Or
I don't think there's going to be any female
heads.
custodian models. I think they said that that's not going to happen.
Oh, okay. Maybe in the far future then, but yeah, like for conversions with the Stormcast heads, I'm excited. However, I am annoyed at the Twitter post that was like, "Oh yeah, they've been there this whole time." Because like, dude, where are they? Like, I'm reading Horus Heresy, the final 3 books again, and every few months I re-listen to Siege of Terra, and it's like, where are they? They're not there because they weren't there, right? Like, this is like some J.K. Rowling shit where it's like, oh, by the way, it was like that all along. Like, what? No, that's like saying like, oh yeah, we'd have Primaris all along. They were just hiding in the heresy. Like, no, like. That's just weird. It seems forceful, in my opinion. Again, I am all for female custodians, but it's painfully obvious that they weren't in the Horus Heresy series. This long, expansive series that features custodians a lot. Like they were not once mentioned, and suddenly, like, oh, they're there the whole time. It seems kind of off to me. So I like female custodians. I wish, I prefer if there's like, oh, like it's a new thing. Like now, like. Since the heresy, like when they're replenishing their numbers, they started making female custodians. Oh, great, that's awesome. I'm all for that. But saying that it's always been that way seems off to me because again, like we haven't seen them at all, so it's weird. That's my 2 cents.
That's his 2 cents. He's the lore guy. I leave it to him. I don't really care. I just. Going with my limited knowledge of the lore, I feel like custodians are more complex than Space Marines. So I don't see why Space Marines can't be, or women can't be Space Marines either. But custodians can. But again, I don't really know the lore. I don't really know the technicalities.
The trap with Space Marines is that they specifically stated that only dudes can be Space Marines. Like. And that's like spelled out. That's not even like an extrapolation or like context clues. Like it straight up says in the last time I've heard this is the Horus Heresy rulebook for 2.0 says that only boys can be Space Marines based on like some genetic thing or whatever with the process. But for custodians, there's nothing like that. So custodians have no reason why they couldn't have female custodians. Yeah. That's the lore stuff. But again, it's just weird. Like, does that make sense? With the Twitter thing?
Yeah, I understand what the Twitter. The Twitter saying like, that they've always been there, which
like,
I think is what. I mean, I don't know obviously, I think the hardcore fans would never accept female custodians, but I think if GW didn't tweet that they've been there all along, I don't think they would have gotten as much hate. You still would have gotten hate because GW can't please everybody.
Of course.
But yeah, definitely they've been there from the start. I think it's what really pissed everyone off.
Yeah, and it's annoying me, and I'm for the concept. It just feels weird that you're saying they've always been there, but like they're not. Siege of Terra isn't that old, and you could have put them there, but you didn't, and they're clearly not there. And now you're saying they're there. Like, what's going on? Anyways,
it's just a retcon that they want to get the little brownie points for. But
yeah,
that happened just after our last show. That dropped. Let's see what else. I think there was some more Space Marine 2 gameplay trailer that went off. But I'm just hyped for. I just I don't know why they got to release it at the end of the year here. And then trying to think anything else. I can't really think of anything else right now. It's pretty much it on my end.
Yeah, it's mostly just AoS 2.0 news, to be honest. So
yeah, it's all. I mean, it's gonna be a big year.
Yeah, AoS. I'm excited for the new edition for sure. Mainly because it was Spearhead. Just finish having like a fully playable force is hype to me.
I think it'll be like my experience in this edition of AoS. I'll play a couple games, and then slowly just die out for me. Because before I took my current job, I mean, I was playing AoS like once a week with another group of friends that I had. It's only when they started changing the day to where I was working that I couldn't play anymore. But I was consistently playing AoS, learning the game. But it just never held me, just because I was more competitive 40k, which now that I work the weekends, I've kind of lost my competitive edge. I'm not gonna lie. Because right now for LVO, I'm not planning to go into the big tournament. I've done the big tournament almost every year. I think I'm gonna downgrade myself to the casual event and just enjoy the time and not spend a whole day playing Warhammer. Because it is exhausting. Especially how they run their tournaments over there. Because if you got first game, if you got a slow opponent that doesn't know what they're doing, or they just take their time doing something, when that game is over, because most likely the time ran out, you have so little time to get food. And unless you're, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but unless you weren't in a group of friends who would help like pick up food for you and kind of deal, like you're rushing to get that food, and so is all the other nerds rushing to get their food. So those lines are huge. I mean, luckily the Rio was better this year because it wasn't under construction, so food restaurants were actually opened. So it was a little bit better, but yeah, I'm gonna take it easy. 2025, gonna do more casual event. I don't know when the tickets go on sale. It should be coming on sale soon here though. Either sometime next month, I think, is usually when they do it. In June or July. What about you? You think you're gonna go to LVO next year?
Actually, yeah, because one of my 30k friends is running the 30k event, Torch got passed down to him, so I will be playing 30k in LVO.
What event?
Probably the main. There's only one. Well, as far as I know, there's only gonna be one 30k event for LVO. So
Well, I mean, like it's obviously not gonna be like the event last year, right? The whole reason why
no,
you didn't
no.
go.
Me and all our other 30k friends have expressed to Reed Cawthorn, who's now the new LVO guy, that we want 3,000 points, please. So, yes, I think it will happen.
Okay. Oh well, that's all I've got for today. Anything else you want to add? Talk about before we close out?
I think that would be it.
All right then. Well, guys, sorry for keeping you waiting for so long, but we're back. Hopefully, we'll be in the groove of things. But thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Later, everyone.